Wamonyoro is not in control. He's, for himself, is preparing for any eventuality. And he is not prepared for a loss. Yeah. And if there's a loss, prepare for an emergency.
Bethel Clouds TV, empowering lives.
Umesema kutakuwa na state of emergency.
What is most likely, because the imagination of Ruto, he doesn't have a kind of a thinking of how he will go to, just like what Sudi said, somebody was saying, that have you ever had a president? Sudi. Have you ever had a president in Kenya? That is an impossibility. For them, it is an impossibility. So they are working out on modalities. This one, we must take it by fire, by force. If it doesn't work and we see things are not working our way, we will cause something that will lead to a state of emergency. Then when there's a state of emergency, it means that the cabinet is broken and every other thing, the constitution is suspended, and then the rule, either the president rules as a military ruler or rules with some other circles that's controlling. And this one is most likely to be done if you see this kind of way Ruto is approaching, facing things, pushing things. It's like he's instigating it to come. You know, there's a way your wife can come and start abusing you because you want to walk out, but she wants you to cause it. She's tired of you, but she doesn't want to walk out. She wants you to cause it. That is what Ruto, other side of doing things, is doing. Again, the most disadvantaged thing, yet it is disadvantageous, it is this. There is this person that has been nominated to be the chairman of the IEBC. One thing, and that's why I say there is some things Ruto is doing that are so provocative. This is a relative of Nanok. Nanok was previously
governor for Turkana.
And this guy worked for Nanok. Therefore, if you look at it, State House has a hand over this guy who was nominated. They could have nominated Nyachai. But it couldn't work. They saw Nyachai cannot be.
Why not Nyachai?
Nyachai is not a strategist. This guy with Nanok, this Turkana guy, is a strategist. Yeah, he's a planner. He's somebody who can make things work. Nyachai is more of political. He's aloof. He can make a lot of blunders because he will be trying to justify something. And when you try to justify something, and Nyachai is a strong man. The heart is a little bit hard to bend. You look at what his father used to be, he has some characteristics, and somehow they feared him for that. They would rather give him a seat as a commissioner, but not as a chair. Now, that's one thing, that you look at it critically, Ruto just is throwing things to us so that we can reject them. And then leaks the information about that person so that we can reject him. Or the parliament can reject him. Number one. Number two scenario that is so disadvantageous to Ruto, if it goes through, then it's most likely some Waruingi somewhere will recall the parliament. We put signatures around there and say now the parliament should be brought down. And again, this also, which could be advantageous or disadvantageous to Ruto, all the MPs who are dead, the MCS who are dead, will have by-elections. Ruto will use that to gauge.
You'll use now the advantage of the availability of the commissioners.
Yes, to gauge his popularity in Mount Kenya, to gauge his popularities around
in Nyanza,
and all these places. Like now we have this one, where this guy was killed. So this IEBC, the coming of IEBC, is a 50-50 thing for Ruto. It will work or might not work for Ruto. But if it works, it will work still to bring him down. And if it fails to work, it will fail to work also to bring him down. There is a question you had asked me that we said April things will go up and down for Ruto and maybe will not be in power. According to what I know, the push to remove Ruto was like suspended for a few days. Because they saw if they push to bring Ruto down and there was no IEBC, then whatever they will do will be in crisis because there will be no...
It will be constitutional crisis.
It will be a constitutional crisis. So they will both lose it and somebody can come and take it. It was a strategic shift towards the month of May and the month of June. That is when you see now the shenanigans. And because the name has been taken to Parliament, they will take it as it is. They will not oppose it. Even the all members of Parliament, they will not oppose him. Of course, some people will try to go to court, but they will not oppose him. Why? Because all what they want is to have an institution called IEBC in place to avoid another crisis. Should we go to 2025? According to Kriegler report says, the commissioner, the chair, or the commission must be in place at least 2 years prior to the election. Should we delay again, it means the election will be postponed because we will not be within the 2 years, according to the Kriegler verdict. So all these things are working, and now the stage is set for the removal of Ruto. It is now, and if it fails now, then. But right now, this is the season. So now, because Ruto knows this is what they plan to do, he will use a situation to cramp down the nation so that a state of emergency can be witnessed.
So, in layman's language, those who are planning to remove the president, I don't know whether the Raila camp, I'm not sure.
There's no Raila Uhuru camp. That's one camp, but splitting itself into two.
So the people, the same forces that are planning to remove the president, they would use the availability of the commissioners.
Of course, if not, unless you are not planning to overthrow the government.
You want to do it constitutionally.
Legal constitutional way. You must wait until the commission is there.
Once the commissioners are put in office,
the leader will be out of the government. Once they are put in the office and they are running, they will now push to bring him down. Because they don't want to be seen like they overthrew the government. And because if they pushed it in that direction and there was no commission, Ruto would be justified to use the army to cause a state of emergency. Because he is called to protect the constitution. And that's part of it, to protect the constitution against anybody who can intrude when this body is not existing. Because you cannot call for a referendum if this body is not here. You cannot call like now what Gachagua happened to Gachagua. It was illegal because this body was not there. Because when Kindiki was given the deputy president, it is this commission that should have okayed him. And they should have not been a member of parliament. Was he a member of parliament?
Kindiki.
No. Yeah. He should not have been in a position that he was for about 2 months or 6 months. Is it 6 months? 6 months. So he is in office illegally. If the constitution was to be followed properly, he was in office illegally. There is no justification from the IEBC. There is no justification from all the signatures and all the requirement that was required for him to become a deputy president. Nothing was followed. So when Akina Uhuru access, Matiang'i access, and these other people access, discovered that we don't have an IEBC, they slowed the move. That is why April failed. But now, May will work for them as they will push. By next week, you shall be having a commissioner in place.
A new commission.
A new commission in place.
Now, just to rewind back, you have said that once this commission is in place, perhaps the president might use it
to test voters.
Yeah, his popularity. How is he planning to use it?
He's planning to, like now we have the Embu guy.
Ruko.
Geoffrey. They are going to bring in a strong candidate and see whether he can win
the
elections in the wave that it is. Then this other team will push for their candidate that they start winning election, who will be the firstborn of that other coalition, or the Matiang'i coalition. That could be the firstborn. Of course, the other Nyanza, the ODM guy will win. Whoever that is going to be nominated will make it. Yeah, will make it. But in this place, Mount Kenya, where we have vacancy, it is a test for Ruto.
President Ruto's popularity in Mount Kenya.
Yes.
So if he wins, he might have hopes.
If he wins, it means that he's in charge, he's controlling. Wamunyoro is not in control. That is where now Wamunyoro will camp. Right now, he's camping, and you see most of the delegates that are going to Wamunyoro, they are from there. He's mobilizing, he's doing his DO kind of activities. You know him, he was a DO. This is now you will see his DO.
Day the 18th, May 2025, I received intelligence reports that President William Ruto had ordered that I be dealt with once and for all. And since the goons sponsored by the state on several occasions had failed, police and other state security agencies had to come in. At about 11 a.m., same Sunday, 18th May 2025, this information was communicated to the Inspector General of Police, the Director General of the National Intelligence Service, and the Director of Criminal Investigations by the CS Interior Kipchumba Murkomen, and consequently, a killer squad composed of 101 lethal and dreaded officers from the administration police and seconded to the National Intelligence Service, accompanied by officers from the DCI, the Anti-Terrorism Police Unit, the General Service Unit, and the regular police were deployed. This killer squad have been carrying out extrajudicial killings and abductions. Yesterday, they were mobilized and cordoned off and blocked all exits from Gatanga constituency. This squad was armed to the teeth and hooded and with masks to conceal their identity because of the heinous acts they wanted to commit on us. This is despite that there are existing guidelines from the High Court that officers should be in uniform and not conceal their identity. At about 2:30 p.m., we received further intelligence from the deployed patriotic officers who are not in agreement with the information that they had clear instructions to plant arms and weapons in our convoy to provide evidence to arrest us and get evidence that they could charge us with in court. After about 30 minutes, the killer squad was joined by their counterparts who are highly trained in the use of biological weapons. Their instructions were to poison me through inhaled chemicals that would paralyze my brain within 3 months. This was the intent and the purpose of the whole operation. My team and I sought alternative routes as guided by the deployed security personnel, majority of whom are our supporters and opposed to what is going on. We have credible information that President Ruto has directed that my private security personnel be disarmed and be targeted for withdrawal of their licenses so that they can leave me vulnerable to allow room for goons to attack and possibly eliminate me. President William Ruto has expressed ungovernable anger that the state-sponsored goons are being overpowered by my private security personnel who are licensed gun holders. President Ruto is furious that the people of Kenya have not forgotten about the Kiambaa church massacre, where children and women were tortured in the 2007 and /8 post-election violence, and is unhappy that I keep on reminding the people of Kenya of the heinous act. I want to say that although Kenyans forgive each other, They cannot forget this, and there is nothing the president can do about it. The president was also utterly livid that I exposed his grabbing of 5-acre piece of land inside Gong Forest, where he intends to put a private hotel. About my statement on post-election violence, this was a precautionary statement and not incitement. It is based on historical facts and past electoral experiences of 1992, 1997 and 2007 controversial elections, that we must have a free and fair election in 2027. It is my civic duty as a leader to remind IEBC, all agencies and institutions charged with election management, that they must deliver free, fair, verifiable and credible election. I have heard the CS Interior and other pretenders to the throne claim that they will not allow political violence. I urge them to walk the talk. Since November 2024, political violence of great magnitude has been meted on me, my family and my supporters. Not a single case has been prosecuted. For instance, on 28th November 2024, at a solemn funeral service in Limuru, Kiambu County, I was attacked by organized criminal gangs and a police escort. On 28th December 2024, in Shamata, Nyandarua, an inspector of police flanked by criminal gangs threw tear gas canisters at me. On 23rd March 2025, at ACK St. Peter's Cathedral in Nyeri, my convoy was attacked at a church compound by a known criminal gang and a police escort. On 29th March 2025 in Naivasha town, we were attacked by the police. On 6th April 2025, at a church service in Mwik, PCA, hooded goons attacked us inside the church.
We are trying to look at the president right now. We are trying to look at the presidency right now. Mm-hmm. President Ruto and his team. Do you feel they are ready to concede defeat?
Ruto?
Yeah.
Not unless we win an election with a margin of 500,000.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's this 200,000, 100,000, don't expect him to concede. Don't.
The same thing that happened during the 2022 election.
Yes.
If, let's say, the leader is above, the president for about a margin of 200,000, how would he make sure that America recovers our votes?
No, all what is to bring the disparity and they say this is too short to call. Mm-hmm. Then they will go to court with that's why you want to change the Kinamada from the court of the Supreme Court, and then he will put his own people, so that there will be no illegalities and irregularities.
And hot air.
And hot air. You want to create a Supreme Court that he will control. Mm-hmm. What he's planning now is for properly from the IEBC to the Supreme Court and from the ground. Mm-hmm. That's what he's doing. He's for himself is preparing for any eventuality, and he is not prepared for a loss. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if there's a loss, prepare for an emergency in Kenya.
Now, bado ile ya Kindiki hujaongelea vizuri tu, umepatiana tu hapa juu.
Ya Kindiki, Mudavadi was sent to go and send a message to Kindiki, not to Kikuyus. He was sending a message to Kindiki that don't wait. You're not going to be on the ballot box. That was a clear message, a clean message to Kindiki that you are not going to be a running mate.
Bethel Clouds TV, empowering lives.